So today we are going to answer the ultimate question: how would Sean Bean have died in 1997's American action thriller slash prison break slash flight movie in air entertainment, Con Air? And if this is your first time checking out this segment, this is how it works. We cast and kill Sean Bean. Now, we cast him as either a leading or a cameo role, could just be a random bystander. And then we have to decide how he dies, because Sean Bean seemingly dies in every film he's in. One film that comes to mind is The Island. Spoiler alert. He takes like like a grappling hook gun to the neck or something, and then gets hung off a balcony. Those weapons were not necessary in The Island, but maybe they were. I don't know. But either way, we are trying to make sure that Hollywood understands every missed opportunity they had of casting Sean Bean in their films to kill him, because we want him to have that world record, and he's got a long way to go. Danny Trejo takes every movie and dies in all of them. So let's kick this into gear with Con Air. Now, before we jump into this, we are joined by now two-time Sean Bean assassin, Dan from the one and only the Movie Cellar podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, dude. I feel kind of bad for Sean Bean, but like it just works, man. It just works.
It does. You know what? I think he came out with a statement saying he wants to stop dying in films, like stop casting him, but he's so killable. He's got an adorable face and he's just fun to kill.
You take what you can get, in Hollywood. If you're the guy that dies, you're the guy that dies,
All right.
At least you're the guy that's some things.
Exactly. I'll take dying over just like the random like asshole boyfriend or something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And usually he dies in like noble ways. So
right.
Yeah.
Or gruesome, just
yes.
It's not just I died. I had a disease.
That's right.
The one time he had a disease was in what was it? The Black Death or something. He literally had the plague, but then they drawn and quartered him. So I mean,
why you got to do that to a dude who has the plague already?
Come on,
what the hell?
What are you proving? So for those that don't know the Movie Cellar, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your show and where they can find you?
Yeah, so we are the Movie Cellar, and we watch movies on VHS. I actually have my Con Air VHS tape right here with me to inspire me through the episode. But yeah, so we just started our third season, and this season we've watched through alphabetically and picked a different movie from each letter of the alphabet progressively. This season, we're doing it a little bit different. We're calling this season the Back to the Feature season, and we are watching through the years that VHS was mainstream media. From 1978, which was the first year that it really took off in America, to 2006. We've dropped 78. We're getting ready to drop 79. And we're excited about it. And we're also getting ready to do our second annual Trash Bash event.
Awesome.
So this year, we're calling it 24 Hours of Trash. And it's going to be like a marathon session. We'll be watching movies. We'll be playing music. We'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff. And basically for every $100 that people donate to the JDRF, we will do an hour of the show. We're at 5 hours so far. So,
how awesome is that?
I'm pretty stoked on it, man. I'm pretty stoked. It's gonna be in May, so we got enough run time to hopefully get up to that full 24 hours. But
for sure.
Yeah, we're excited.
We will shout it loud and proud. That was a lot of fun last year. You had some really fun events, some great guests, and some great swag to give away too. So that was really cool.
Yeah, man. We're gonna do all that again. Anyone who donates over a certain threshold, and it's not much. It's we'll get stickers and custom mini prints and stuff. So many people were super involved last year, and I've been reaching out like, how can we get involved this time around? So we'll have a lot of cool stuff to give away, and it's gonna be pretty fun. We're actually planning on hosting it at our new co-host's pawn shop. So,
all right.
So Zach, who has been on our show several times, is now our official third co-host of the show. And he is opening a pawn shop, and we're going to be doing the 24-hour stream from his pawn shop.
How cool is that?
It'll be fun.
That's fun. That's innovative, fun thinking for sure.
Yeah. Anything to help the cause.
Absolutely. Great cause.
Yeah,
Gotta help these kids.
absolutely.
So cool. That's a lot of good stuff this year.
Got a
You're
lot going on. Got a
off to a
lot
good
going
start.
on. Yeah.
I better we better wrap this up so you can get to work.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Con Air. We reviewed this film, last summer, and I was so looking forward to it because this is one of those movies that you watch as a kid. I'm like, man, it's got everything to it. It's got the great action, it's got the sweet guitar riffs. It's
Yep.
it's a little bit of everything. And then I don't know what happened, and this is kind of one of those things that I was nervous about with the whole approach of us reviewing our nostalgia, and that what you think a movie's going to be when you rewatch it with a different headset on, it doesn't hit the same way. And this, for some reason, Con Air, it hurt, and I feel like I need to go back and watch it again without thinking of it from an analytical podcast point of view, and just enjoy just the sweet, ridiculous action and story that this is. Because there's a lot to this, and I
Yeah.
was just picking up clips when I was trying to get ready for Sean Bean, and like every clip's got this sweet guitar. I'm like, man, this is just pure action that had no business being in the 90s. It was like
Yeah.
everything that made the 80s great was transported into 1997.
Yeah. There was this beautiful window, like in the late, like the, 96, 97, 98, where there was just some epic, like completely insane action movies coming out. It just so happens that that is the exact window when Michael Bay started making films. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying there's a necessary correlation there, but there definitely is. Nicolas Cage was crushing it in that time period, with
yep,
The Rock and Face Off and Con Air. Like those are three quintessential 90s action films, and
for
they
sure.
came out within like a 6-month span of each other. So, I listened to your Con Air episode. It broke my heart, I'll tell you that. And we've gone back and forth on Twitter about it, all in good fun. But, I will say all in good fun that you are absolutely wrong. And that Con Air, dude, when we watched Con Air for our show, so we did a whole Cage series for
Mhm.
Christmas, like Merry Cagemas. We watched Con Air. I watched it 5 friggin' times because I was like the complete opposite reaction of yours, right? Like I probably hadn't seen it. Now, to be fair, I watched Con Air a lot. And I think probably before that, it had been a couple years, which was like the longest I had ever gone without watching it. And I was like, going into it, I was like, it's not as good as you remember it. You're being ridiculous, Dan. You're like overinflating this to be funny, and you're like buying into your own nonsense. And then I watched it, and I was like fully erect the whole time. No, but seriously,
Uh,
I am so in love with this movie, and like the cast is insanely good. The characters are like these cartoonish characters, and the plot is so absurdly ridiculous. Like it has every magical element that makes Hollywood fun, that makes movies fun. Like it doesn't make it great in a like cinematography sense. Although,
mhm.
if you do dig into it, like Con Air is a legit movie as far as like special effects and stuff go.
Oh yeah.
When they blow up that friggin' casino, that's legit. Like
Yeah.
they were planning on blowing up that casino, and they got together, were like, hey, you're blowing up this casino, can we fly an airplane into it? And they were like, yeah, sure, why not? So they had like one chance to do that right. And so like most of the effects in the film are all done practically. So there is definitely like it's a garbage movie. It
Mhm.
is ridiculous, and it's not going to change. I mean, I don't know if I even believe this, but I guess I'll say it. It's not going to change the world,
Well,
but it depends on who you are. I think if everybody around the world sat down together and watched Con Air, there'd be world peace. But
it might happen.
I think, though, seriously, man, I think what needs to happen is you and I need to get together. We need to do a party watch of this movie. And I promise you, my passion for this film will rub off on you. It's like, it's unavoidable.
I think because the last time I saw this was so long ago that
Yeah.
it just, there's in my head, it was one thing, and then just like, what am I doing? So
Yeah.
I think I think I need to put myself in the right headspace and just soak it in.
Absolutely.
How much
Well,
of this film do you think is actually in slow motion? It's got to be like a quarter of it, right?
all the explosions, all the
Yeah.
running from the explosions. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that they really want you to take in. They need time to get those sweet guitar licks in there.
Oh yeah, you
So,
gotta. The flowing hair contract
oh
that
man,
Nick Cage had to
Nick
have.
Cage's hair has never looked sexier.
All right. Well, there's our opinions of a brief 5 minutes on Con Air. I will have to watch this again. Maybe sit down a nice summer day and just bring it in again
Yes.
and see what happens.
Yeah, now that you're in the right frame of mind for it,
Right.
and now that you're gonna take it at the seriousness that it deserves. I'm not going to say how high or low, but like the appropriate amount of seriousness for the film. I think you will enjoy it with boyish wonder again. I believe in it.
I love his southern accent in this one.
Oh,
great.
dude. So I'll save this for when we get into the actual Sean Bean murder part, but there's something to do with the southern accent in there. So
lovely. Well, let's not waste any time here. Let's just jump straight into this. So like I said, we will cast Sean Bean into this movie, and then we have to go break down how exactly he meets his end. Now, I have a guest submission actually from my wife, who I'm going to share first.
Yes.
She wasn't able to join us tonight, but she gave me, I brought it up to her. She's like, hey, do you want to jump in and kill Sean Bean in Con Air? And she said, no, I don't. However, this idea just popped into her head immediately, so I had to write it down. So here we go. Sean Bean was sent to prison at the same time as Cameron Poe, and they immediately become friends. They didn't have anything in common except for one thing: the appreciation for long, flowing locks of hair.
Yes.
They had to talk prison strategy about how do you keep your hair silky smooth when you're in prison with limited resources. So Sean Bean, while Cameron Poe's doing all these crazy jujitsu stretching and muscle toning moves in his cell, Sean Bean was sitting there just brushing his hair. So at the end, when they're both getting out and they're both boarding that plane, Sean Bean's hair is actually longer and much smoother than Poe's. So Cameron Poe gets out of the bus first, and of course you get that slow scene where he's looking up, just taking in that fresh freedom air, blowing his hair back, that perfectly gifable moment.
Yes.
Well, Sean Bean can't be one up there. So he steps off that bus, does a whole hair whip,
like
feels
a
it.
shampoo commercial.
Exactly, yeah. However, his hair is way too long. Way too long. He does it a little bit too close to that giant jailbird plane. And unfortunately, his hair gets caught in that propeller. And it just whips him up and just sucks him right into it and just decapitates him. All ending Sean Bean. That poor hair.
Damn, Dana.
Right?
Well, that's what you get, Sean Bean, for trying to show up Cameron Poe.
You don't do that.
Nah, man.
Do not.
Nope. Oh,
right,
dude,
Dan,
that's brutal.
What do you got for us?
Well, since we're doing guest submissions, I will tell you the thing I just teased about the Southern accent. I told my wife, I said, we're getting ready to cast and kill Sean Bean in Con Air. And after kind of explaining the concept to her, she's like, wait, he's not in that movie. I was like, no. We're going to put him in the movie and then we're going to kill him. And she's like, oh, you should just have him die from all the stupidity of Nicolas Cage's Southern accent. he just gets to the point where he just looks into the camera and says, I can't anymore. And his head explodes. It's like, you're just trying to hurt me. You're just trying to hurt me.
So what is he, like another inmate? He's like, what area of the South are you from? Is that New Orleans? It's like, I'm from Louisiana. I don't know what this accent is. And it just messes with his head. He just can't take it.
Exactly. It just makes his head explode. He just can't handle it after, after enough time. He's just like, no, it's not worth living anymore. And he spontaneously combusts, I guess. But I will say this for Nick Cage. Well, I was going to say this in favor of him, but it actually makes it worse. He spent time in the South to work on this accent. Like, he spent a few months hanging out in the South, I believe in like Georgia, Not even because
Right.
it seems like the closest that you could nail down for that accent would be like New Orleans, which is still not even remotely what it is.
Right.
And this is coming from someone from New England. Like even I am aware that it's bad. But anyway, yeah, he spent time down there, months down there, and that was the outcome. So he's just so real, man. He's just real on a level that we're not even at yet. You know, that's
Maybe.
what it is.
Maybe everyone down south has the wrong accent and he actually nailed
right.
it.
That's right. It's like a little Chuck Norris flip there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe just he spent so much time in Georgia that once he got on camera, he forgot and then just reverted to whatever he thinks the South sounds like. I don't know.
You're going to bait me into talking bad about the South, and I'm not going to do it. All right. I'm not going to do it. If somebody wants to hear that, they can listen to my show.
All right. I'll stop then. So I have two moderately thought out
All right.
attempts here. Do you want me to just throw one at you?
Just throw it out there, man.
Alrighty. So here's the first one I thought about as soon as you said we're doing Con Air, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Got to.
Sean Bean is a car wash attendant, and he's working harder than everyone else there because he knows if he goes above and beyond, he will get the better tips. That's just, common sense.
Just the tips.
One car rolls through. One car rolls through the car wash, and they ask for the works package. They want it fully detailed. He's like, I'm on this. I got this. This man and woman couple. He takes care of them. Well, that car is perfect. It looks brand new. So, as they're rolling out, he gives the keys back, says, here you go. The driver and his wife, they give him a $50 tip and say, hey, you know what? You keep working like that with that work ethic. The sky's the limit for you. So just as they pull out of that car wash, the seagulls are flying by and they unload on that car. And they talk about, oh, this is just my luck. I just get out of the car wash and bird poop. It's like, well, it's good luck. Well, Sean Bean happens to just glance over and sees this mess that just hit that car after you just spent a good hour cleaning it. He's like, no, not on my watch. I got to take care of these people so they come back to me. He runs out into traffic with his squirt gun and his rag, and he just jumps on that hood and starts cleaning it up really good. It's like, I got you. Don't
like
worry
a homeless
about it.
guy.
Right.
All right.
Like, I'm going to take care of you. And just at that moment, that's when Dave Chappelle comes flying out of the sky and crushes him.
Yes.
And it turns out the sky truly was a limit, but it was only about 20,000 feet, ending Sean Bean.
Oh man, that's so funny. I definitely tried to figure out a way to work in the flying body into my death of Sean Bean as well, but I did not succeed. So that was well executed, because I was like, how can you make that scene any better than it is? But I like how you're sticking with the same scene, essentially, like, the same couple doing the same thing, having the same conversation. You're just introducing a new element there. So that's perfect, man.
It's a great scene. I feel like any movie that we kill Sean Bean in and there's somebody falling, you gotta find a way. And
you gotta find a way to make them land on him.
That's always my go-to. I thought about just making them kind of just escape pinball falling, and then that crazy crash scene where like literally 5 to 10 cars just immediately just start hitting each other for no reason.
Yes.
Maybe he could get crushed that way, but he's like, you know what? He needs to get hit by Dave Chappelle.
I love that.
That's just a rule. So there we go. That's mine.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. One element that this film has that doesn't get talked about very often because of all of the other things going on is that Cameron Poe's best buddy, what's his name? Baby O.
Yep.
He is a type 1 diabetic. And it is very, very imperative that he gets his insulin, or else he apparently will immediately die. So I just want to clear the air here. As a parent of a type 1 diabetic and a big supporter of a charity that it supports type 1 diabetes research, that is not how type 1 diabetes works at all. Yes, without insulin, you will eventually die, but there's no stopwatch on the issue. Like, it takes a long time. However long it would take you to starve to death is how long it would take you to die. So, since we're already throwing diseases in there that we're totally misrepresenting on screen, I think we need another inmate in here with another disease who doesn't fare quite as well as Baby O. And so that's when Sean Bean comes in. See, Sean Bean here, he is another friend of Cameron's and Baby O's, but he has celiac disease. And so the problem is that if he doesn't get some gluten-free pizza when they stop when they stop at this airport in the middle of nowhere, he will die, because that is how celiac disease works. And so they land, and the pizza guy is supposed to be there, but like pizza guys always are, he's obviously late, and Cameron doesn't pay him full price for late pizza, although that's a Ninja Turtles reference. But still, he gets the pizza, he brings it to Sean Bean, but unfortunately Sean Bean has expired because he didn't get his gluten-free pizza in time, and we all know that that is how celiac disease works. So
So you cannot say that you don't learn something from this podcast, guys. So it is.
That's right. There you go. If you have friends with celiac, you got to force feed them gluten. They can tell you no, they don't want it, but they're lying. They do. They just got to force it down their throats.
Yeah, you save them.
So that's one of mine.
That is awesome. I almost also cast Sean Bean as a pizza delivery driver as well as a car wash attendant, because he's just doing these odd jobs to make those tips. Got to support himself.
Pizza's tied in there. Maybe Sean Bean is the driver, the pizza driver, and the celiac guy. Both, he's like double cast.
Or his twin brother, and they just both die in the same day. He died, so he could not deliver this pizza to save his brother.
Man, and so his brother dies too. Tragic. Man, double Sean Bean death in one film. Have you done that yet?
You know what? I don't think so.
Well,
I don't think we've done that.
This is a first. Mm-hmm. How many of these episodes have you done? Like 10?
Oh, geez. It's been a lot.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You're hearing it here first, folks. All right.
World premiere.
That's right. We're double killing Sean Bean and Con Air. And if there's a movie that deserves it, it's Con Air.
If it's a movie that it makes the most sense in, it's Con Air.
It's Con Air. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have one more that I wrote down.
All right.
And a bunch that just live in my head rent free.
I like that.
But here's my last one. So Sean Bean is with his buddies on vacation in Vegas, and he has about as much luck at the casino as Clark Griswold. And he's always losing. Every slot machine he's on, he just throws money away. Every table, the table goes cold. So none of his buddies will play with him at all. Except for the last day, he's committed. It's like, I got to leave with something just to say I won. So on the very last night, he's sitting at the craps table and he starts hitting and he starts winning. He's like, oh, this is going crazy. Then he takes it to blackjack and he starts winning there. He's like, this is the best night of my life. So then he takes it to roulette. And, he's just betting black and red, just constantly just switching back and forth. And he keeps hitting. He's amassed this great, huge pot. He's like, I can't lose. So finally, he's like, you know what? It's the last day. This is all just stuff I won. I'm just going to bet it all on red. Everyone around the table just gasps. Like, I cannot believe this guy just threw all this money on red. So he takes a deep breath and they let it go. So he's watching the ball go around and around. Sean's starting to sweat. And suddenly there's a low rumble going through the casino. And everyone starts looking around. Like, what is this? And if you listen very carefully, the sound of this sweet guitar riff is growing louder and louder. Everybody starts running because they know something's about to happen, but not Sean Bean. He is sitting at that table. You do not leave a hot table because that's the rule.
That's right.
And then bam, that plane comes crashing through the front windows. That propeller that happened to spin off and then slice the plane in half right between Poe and Cyrus, it happened to do a boomerang effect and come all the way around.
Why not?
And it slices Sean straight in half. And his blood goes flying all over the roulette wheel, covering it in blood, ensuring that ball lands on red.
Dude, poetic, Tim. Boom.
Thus, Sean Bean won everything, but he lost it all.
Dude, that is beautiful. Take a bow, man. That was beautiful. Like the poetry of that, the picture painting of that, like that is legit, dude.
And savage.
I'm impressed, man. Especially throwing the propeller in there and everything. Yeah.
It had to go somewhere, right?
It did. I mean, it's a boomerang propeller. Like you said, it's going here and there and everywhere. It's like the bullet that shot Kennedy, man.
Right. It had enough velocity to come flying off the plane, slice it in half,
Yep.
and keep going.
Yeah.
So there's no stopping this propeller.
No.
So
No.
it's probably still spinning right now.
It probably is. It's like those fires that are burning in the coal mines forever and
Mhm.
ever. I heard about. It's like that.
Yeah.
That's that propeller just going and going forever and ever.
Gotta harness that energy to power
Yeah,
all these
dude.
electric vehicles.
So I've got one more that's a little bit. I wouldn't say serious, but I feel like it fills a plot hole that I don't want to call it a plot hole. I'm sorry, Con Air. I don't mean to say that. There are no plot holes,
Of
but
course not.
it definitely paints a more clear picture in my mind. Okay. Also, I have way more of these. This is just my last serious one. The rest of them I thought up at like 4 a.m. while I was laying in bed awake.
That's the way it goes.
But okay, so one of the really great scenes of the film is when Garland Green goes into the dried up pool and is having tea with a little girl, right?
Mhm.
And he's known as like a cannibal, and he like wears people's body parts, as he wears a girl's head through 3 states or something. He says, he's the worst of the worst. And so this scene is really tense because he's sitting here with this little girl, and you can see it just building up in him, like it does with a serial killer. Like he's just
Mhm.
he wants to whatever, kill her and eat her and wear her head or whatever. In the way the movie's shot now, you don't know how that resolves until they're flying away and she's waving goodbye to them.
Mhm.
Now, on our show, we actually mentioned this, that I wonder if you cut that scene out, which is like a half a second of a scene, that's a very different story about Garland Green, because you're left to think that he actually did kill the girl. And just that one wave implies that he didn't.
Mhm.
And it makes me wonder, if were there test audiences that like they shot this without that scene and they did not like it, and so they added it in, or was this always the intention?
Yeah.
But however it was meant to be shot, clearly Garland Green is intended to be a sympathetic character, because much like your Sean Bean story here, he ends the movie at the craps table, right? I want to fully redeem Garland Green in a way that is unambiguous. And so this is what I'm thinking. He's sitting there, he's hanging out with the little girl, and they're talking, sharing life stories. And she confides in him. And she says, "My daddy, he's a good daddy, but sometimes when he gets drunk, he beats me up." And Garland Green says, "Well, that's not nice. No one should beat up a little girl like you." And she said, "Yeah, he'll probably be mad at me for being out here playing with you." And he's like, "All right, well, why don't you take me back to your house and I can meet your dad, and then I can show him what a nice guy I am." So she brings Garland Green back to her trailer, and sitting in his recliner watching, I don't even know, whatever they watch, porn, uh, with his gut hanging out, is a very differently cast version of Sean Bean.
Hmm.
Not a good guy, pretty scummy guy, guy you really, really love to hate. And Garland Green walks in, and the guy, "Who the hell are you? And what are you doing in my house?" And I mean, I don't know if Sean Bean could even pull this off, but I think he's a very dynamic actor. I think he could. And I
Yeah.
think it would really show some range for him. And then Garland Green proceeds to relieve the girl of her worthless father. And, maybe he wears Sean Bean's head back to the airplane. And thus the demise of Sean Bean, the horrible, drunk, abusive father, and
Wow.
the full redemption of Garland Green. So now when you see him at the end of the movie rolling dice, you are fully like, yes, this is a guy who not only should win, but he should be set free, because he has overcome his serial killer ways and will now be like the next Dexter and just kill bad people.
There it is.
So there it is.
That's great. I'm glad you went that route, because I was also thinking, not of the same vein. I was thinking Sean Bean, the protector dad, coming out there with like a shotgun. Like, get away from my daughter.
Yeah, that is what should have happened.
But
You know,
you know, angry, like Fat Thor, just sitting there, just drinking PBRs, just not a good
Yeah,
guy.
not a good
I
guy.
could do that.
I just think it would really force Sean Bean to explore some of his lesser traveled areas in his acting career.
Yeah.
I think he's got it, though. I think he's got the chops. It is critical in that series that you come out of it thinking that Gartland Green is a good guy or he's turned over a new leaf. And so, that would definitely make that much less ambiguous, much more clear. Like, this dude is a good dude. And he not only didn't kill the girl, he helped the girl.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. More redemption for him, because then
Exactly.
Then you're not
Yeah,
leaving. It's
because
like, you know what? There's
the
a serial killer just
the
chilling in
reality
the casino.
at the end of the movie, I'm definitely like, this dude should full on be locked up. Like, we should not be rooting for this. But the way the movie plays out, you definitely do. You're like, yeah, you go. But really, no, you don't go. You should go back to prison, and because you're gonna definitely kill and eat people.
And Vegas is a perfect place to do it.
Yes. Yep.
I think we need the director's cut of Con Air.
I think we need our cut, the Dan and Tim cut of Con Air.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's kickstart that.
Yes. I love it.
All right. So I think that covers our written down ones. Do you have any just rapid fire ones you want to share?
Okay, I have it. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to mess this episode up, but there was one that I totally forgot, which was my best one.
Oh, go. That's fine. Let's go for it.
So, and then we'll go to the ridiculous. Okay, so this is my best one by far. I cannot believe I forgot it. So at the beginning of the movie, where Cameron is beating up those guys and kills the one guy, like, it's pretty stupid that he ends up going to jail for that. And the whole, like,
100%.
the different rules apply to you because you were in them. It's like, no, that's stupid. And also, like, he feels guilty about it, and he shouldn't feel guilty about it. Those dudes were definitely trying to kill him. So this is how I picture it. Cameron Poe walks into the bar. He's just back from serving in the military, and up walks one of his high school buddies, who happens to be Sean Bean. And they're kind of like shooting the shit, and they're not super tight, but like they know each other, and there's kind of swapping stories, and it's a nice night, and all the other same things happen. And then Cameron and his wife go out to the car, and then these dudes show up at the car, and Cameron's like, all right, I got to fight them. So he starts to fight them, but he's going too far. And then Sean Bean comes out to try to stop him. But because Cameron's in a rage, he accidentally hits and kills Sean Bean when Sean Bean's just trying to like help him and like get him off.
That's what she said.
And so now the guilt that Cameron feels and like the fact that he gets convicted of manslaughter, that all plays out a lot better because like it wasn't self-defense because this was the guy trying to help him, and he feels way more guilty because this is a dude who was nice to him. Yeah. And so like it makes Cameron's character way more dynamic, and it makes that whole experience of going to prison much more complex than just simply like I was wrongfully convicted, So that was my other one.
That makes it better. That makes the whole thing better. 100%.
Right?
I'm
yes.
with you.
I know. So, I can't believe I forgot that one.
What kind of shitty lawyer do you have? It's like, yeah, just plead guilty, man. You'll get off.
It was so stupid. And then that whole thing with the judge being like, the rules don't apply to you, son, or like different rules apply. Like, no, dude, like the rules are the rules. Like it doesn't matter what your career is.
I'm sorry if I get surrounded by, I think it was 4 dudes.
Trying to beat the shit out of me.
And they got a knife, right? So they mean business here. So yeah, come on.
See, I'm telling you. And like,
I like yours.
And he feels super guilty about it. He shouldn't feel guilty, but if he accidentally killed a buddy of his, he would definitely feel guilty.
Yeah.
So
that's 2 amazing moments with Sean being interjected here. That would make the film better. So
I don't know what I want to say. Better.
It would. I think it would.
Okay, so the ridiculous ones, I'll bang through these real quick. One is that the character that I was talking about who never talks is the airplane itself. So imagine Sean Bean voicing the airplane itself. And so we kill him by crashing him into a friggin' casino, right? Beautiful. But him and Cameron, they have like a thing. They kind of talk to each other telepathically. I don't know. I told you it's out there. This was one of my 4 a.m. ones. so, so the other 4 a.m. one was like, we have this little side like Toy Story film going on in Cameron's box, right? You got the bunny in there and she's all sweet and cuddly and stuff. But then you also have this like army action figure in there. And that's voiced by Sean Bean, right? And so the first dude takes the bunny out of the box, and you have the famous line, put the bunny back in the box, and he does, but the army guy like sees it and he's like, don't worry, bunny, like I'll protect you. And like he fashions like a mask to look like the bunny. Now you have to really stretch the believability here, but you're doing that a little bit with this movie anyway, right?
Yeah.
So Cyrus takes the fake bunny out of the box, which is really Sean Bean, the action figure, dresses the bunny, and he holds it up, and only Cameron hears him, and he says, don't worry, the bunny's safe. And then and then Cyrus kills him and he dies, but the bunny's safe in the box.
What you are doing at 4 a.m. is drastically different than what I am doing at 4 a.m.
All right. Well, you have your own, so let's hear yours.
So I was thinking, what's that ass kicker? Is he a FBI guy? I'm trying to remember what his name was.
Oh yeah, the dickhead.
The dickhead, yeah. I don't remember his name, but either way, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I have a side story with that guy. So the reason why he's such a dickhead and so angry is because before all the shenanigans happened, he happened to come home because he forgot his lunch and he saw his wife with another man. And that
his wife definitely cheats on him. Oh, that's a fact. He's the worst.
So he had kind of expected it, but it happens to be Sean Bean. He just goes into a blind rage and he knocks him out, like pistol whips him. So he's out cold and he stuffs him into his Corvette trunk because you could probably only fit one body in that thing. And so he plans on taking care of him later. But then you got Cusack just steals his car and takes it to this abandoned airport with Sean Bean still in the trunk. So Sean Bean like comes to, he's trying to get out of this thing, but there's no room to move around. So he's just stuck there. And then lo and behold, it happens to get picked up accidentally by the tow cable and launched into the air with the plane and crashes with Sean Bean in it, killing him.
Oh, that makes that scene way more brutal.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I had that.
That's good, man. I like that.
I had this crazy theory that he may have been Doctor Strange at one point. So, Doctor Strange can like manipulate time and space and he creates these portals to travel around things. And the only thing I can make sense of when the fire truck crashes and Cyrus is attached to that
Don't
ladder,
even start with this.
and somehow he launches to a gravel crushing facility.
Yeah.
The only thought that makes sense in my head is that Sean Bean, Doctor Strange, creates a portal and Cyrus goes through that portal and Sean Bean doesn't see it. All of a sudden this body coming at him hits him and they both get carried into another portal, which happens to be at this concrete crushing facility. And they both get face smashed by this giant crusher because how else would he just happen to land to this unmanned crushing machine?
This was the 90s, man. There was shit like this all over the place, okay? Just things that were literally like mousetrap board game style things built to kill villains. It's just the way it was. That was all movies. All right. There's like belts and like, hammers and The Rock is the same way.
Yes.
So come on, man. What are you trying to do to me here? But I love the idea. I don't love the commentary on the movie surrounding the idea.
I'm trying to make it make more sense in my brain.
That's where you're going wrong.
So I got to bring Marvel into it.
All right. I mean, look, you want to bring Marvel into this. I am 100% on board. We can bring Ghost Rider in while we're at it.
Yeah, we can. I had another one. It's kind of escaping me right now, but I'm sure he was just another inmate. He had a backstory because,
yeah,
for some reason there's a backstory to each one of these as they're entering the plane, so he had to have something. And I don't know, maybe he also got set on fire. But
yeah, maybe spontaneous, like legitimately spontaneously combust. He volunteered himself. Guys, look, I could do this thing. I'm gonna do this for you guys. Just make sure you take care of my family afterward. And he just sits there like he's just gonna like take a huge shit, and then instead of it, he just starts smoking, and then yeah, we came up with that one together.
Yeah, it could be. So Chappelle didn't have to smuggle in or gag up a match.
That's true. He also gets to avoid all of the really racist comments that he makes about Native Americans in that part. So that's good.
That's right. We're trying to make it cleaner by spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I'm sure we can have plenty more, but
oh yeah. I mean, a lot of people die in this movie, so like, there's a lot of places to plug him in. Yeah. Yep.
I don't know, man. I think your two suggestions for a director's cut would be legit, and it needs to happen. So I don't know. We'll have to write this director's cut or podcaster's cut.
Yes.
And maybe we'll have to reenact these scenes and just cut it in there and just see if anyone notices.
I mean, you got to start growing out your hair, because I'm not gonna be able to do the hair. I don't have hair. So
you know what? I will use my resources, and I'll try to recruit Sean Bean to
all right,
to star in this for charity.
I mean, you guys must be tight at this point, right? You're just like killing him over and over again. He's probably like, loving that.
I keep getting these letters in the mail from his attorney, and I just don't open them. I'm just pinning them to the wall, so it's got to mean something, right?
They're probably like, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just wanted to legally say thank you.
Final notice is the final time I'm going to say thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It has to be what it is, right?
For sure.
Well, Dan, thanks so much. This has been a riot. I love talking to you. I love your podcast. It is my favorite movie review podcast out there. You guys have a lot of fun. You do these films justice. I love your approach, and you guys are fun. So anyone that hasn't, I'd be shocked if you haven't, but go check out the Movie Cellar. They're doing a lot of great things this year, obviously. So stay tuned for that. The Trash Bash of this year is going to be amazing, and I'll stay tuned and support that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. And I love like the relationship that our shows have together. And, you guys bring some really like great stuff to the table. We're just, the way that we describe our show is if somebody just wants to come and hang out, that's what it is. We're just hanging out. Yeah. We eventually talk about movies, but we talk about a lot of nonsense along the way, as you can probably tell from the way I talk tonight. Like, that's kind of how it is. But yeah, man, I love the community of podcasters, and I love that like we don't view each other as competition. We're just all having a good time together, and the support that we've gotten with all of our efforts toward the JDRF and Trash Bash, from you guys and everybody last year and going into this year, we're stoked. We're currently like, we've raised like $7,500 so far. We're hoping by the end of this year to hit 10,000. It would be huge, and for those of you that don't know, I think I did mention it, but like, this is really close to me. My daughter is a type 1 diabetic. We didn't start the show planning on being like having a purpose, but we're stoked for our listeners and our friends to help us to actually have a purpose and see it through. So yeah,
you've raised a lot of money for this, that I don't, like you said, you never went into it with this in mind, but you found success and you found a community, and you're right, man. This podcasting community is amazing. And I'm so glad that we decided to make a podcast, because I got a chance to meet you and so many other great podcasters out there, and we're just having fun. And this is, this is awesome. So again, Dan, thank you so much for joining our show, having some
fun. Thanks for having me, man. This was a blast. I hope that like I've renewed some like spark in you that like maybe you might start to believe that like Con Air, maybe there's something to Con Air that you just need to be in the right frame of mind to enjoy.
You know what? There's a series of Nick Cage movies I have to rewatch. I hold off just in case we're going to review them with this podcast, but I don't think we're going to get to them. So I'm like, you know what? You basically said the Trinity. Con Air, The Rock, Face Off. I got to check them out again, and I'll just binge them, and I'll report to you on how it goes.
Yeah, man, that sounds like a great idea. I just want to plug really quick. I've mentioned a couple times people can donate. If you hit our link tree, which is linktr.ee/the Movie Cellar, the very first link on there will take you to our campaign. The money goes directly to the JDRF. It's just a campaign page for us so that we know what donations came in through our friends. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's the way to
absolutely.
do that.
Or just scroll down on these show notes and it'll be everywhere. So
All right. Thanks, Tim.
awesome. So Dan, thanks again. Love your show. Thanks for joining. And until
It's a
next time,
blast.
guys, we'll kill Sean Bean in another one. So have a good one.